everyone! In today's video I will be giving useful tips on how to learn foreign languages in a more effective way, so if you're interested, please keep watching. Let me start first with the languages I've been learning. I think I've been learning like 6 foreign languages, I guess. Well, my first foreign language is of course English. Then I started to learn French at the university. Then I went to China to learn Chinese. I moved to Latvia and I started to learn Latvian, of course. I also took 1 semester of Spanish at my Latvian university. And when I made my student exchange in France, I tried to learn German, but it's a different story actually. So in this video, I just want to show you how I speak those languages. My knowledge is not perfect, and for some of the languages, I don't know many things, so I can only say some basic ones, and it's okay. It's okay, so don't judge yourself if you don't know much from one of the languages you're learning. And I think I've been speaking English a lot in all of my videos, so let me continue with the French. J'ai commencé à apprendre le français, je pense, à mon université en Russie. C'était hyper intéressant, mais si je compare cette langue avec les autres que j'ai étudiées, je pense que un peu difficile, clairement le grammaire et bien sûr la prononciation. Je pense que j'ai toujours des problèmes avec ma prononciation, mais je pense que après avoir fait mes études en France, c'était mieux. J'ai amélioré mon niveau de français et maintenant je me sens plus confiante et je sais pas. Pour moi, maintenant, ça marche. Mon grammaire n'est pas très mal, mais peut-être, je pense que je dois apprendre plus mots pour sentir plus libre quand je parle français. 中文我会说汉语，因为我5个年的前在北京住和学习。的大学跟是的大学没有汉语课，或者汉语老师，所以我不练习汉语。但是我记得4个年的前我考到CDHSK maintenant français Go away. 但是现在我们有一样的级，但是要是我看别的中国人，或者人们是说汉语，我会说汉语，我会听懂什么的，所以。还可以. Latviešu valodu es nerunāju latviešu valodu ļoti labi, tāpēc kā cilvēki saprot krieviski, un es runāju krieviski, tāpēc kā es esmu no Krievijas. Tad Latviju ir grūti praktizēt latviski, ja zini krieviski. Tad jā, bet es saprotu daudz no tā, ko cilvēki saka. Pirms 3 gadiem nokārtoju eksāmenu un tagad man ir A2 līmeņi. Aprendí español durante un semestre en mi universidad en Letonia. Fue muy interesante porque hay muchas cosas parecidas entre el español y el francés, pero la pronunciación es completamente diferente. Así que fue un poco difícil. Creo que mi nivel no es A1, pero puedo decir algunas cosas. And maybe a bit Russian. Русский язык не иностранный для меня, конечно же, я русскоговорящий человек, я из России. Просто хочу поговорить на русском, чтобы, возможно, кто-то из вас послушал, как он звучит, потому что я на самом деле очень люблю русский язык. И после того, как я начала учить иностранные языки, на самом-то деле мое знание русского, как мне кажется, даже ухудшилось немного, потому что последние 3 года я в основном использую английский для учебы и для работы, а русский язык я использую только, наверное, для общения с моими родственниками, с моей семьей. Сейчас, наоборот, хочется больше читать книг, чем-то таким заниматься именно на русском языке, чтобы не терять все знания и красоту моего родного языка. To talk about German, I mentioned German in the beginning of the video. Well, when I was in France, I accidentally chose German, which is like the second part of the course, but I knew nothing from German, so basically it was useless for me because I couldn't understand the thing there, and for one semester I was doing some stuff, but I didn't actually understand what I was doing. So, well, I do not know German at all, and I can only say ich spreche Deutsch nicht. That's it. I don't speak German. That's the reality. I still remember maybe some words, but no more than that. So what's the secret? People usually think that if you speak more than one foreign language, it's a miracle and most probably you are just talented. But the reality is that any person can learn a foreign language and you don't have to be extraordinary to do so. I think several years ago I heard this idea that, well, for people who doubt that they can learn any language, they should think of learning their native language, because when we were all born, we couldn't speak any language at all, and we were taught how to speak our native language. And when you learn a foreign language later on, it's actually the same process. So everyone can learn language. The thing is whether people want to learn languages or they don't. So I will just give you around 8 tips on how to effectively learn languages and not to give up in the middle or in the beginning of this process, and to make this process of studying very enjoyable. So let's get started. So the first thing which I usually mention when starting learning anything new is motivation. The easiest way to find this motivation is to ask a question why you need to learn something. Because every time I need to learn something and I don't understand why I need to learn it, I just don't have any wish or any motivation to do so, because it's just, well, it's useless for me at this point. In general, it can be like useful because, for example, well, speaking 5 languages at school, but why do I need it? I have to find the reason which is suitable exactly for me. So it's very important. If you don't find your motivation, most probably after a month or so, you will just give up. And the second one is, of course, goals. When we set a very huge, distant goal, for example, I want to speak English fluently, but at this point you know nothing from English. Well, this goal is pretty distant and maybe in the nearest future hard to achieve. The thing is that we have to set both long-term and short-term goals. For example, your long-term goal can be like, I want to speak English fluently. But your long-term goal can be, for example, I want to be able to speak about myself freely. This goal is easy to achieve in a month or so. And after you achieve these goals, you feel more motivated and inspired and you don't want to give up. But after, for example, having learned something for a month, you understand that you haven't achieved the long-term goal, it can make you depressed or something. So set short-term goals. They are very important. Another important thing is to track your result. When you're into learning, most of the times you cannot evaluate your results adequately, especially if you study on your own and you don't have a teacher or tutor, whatever. So you have to track your result. How can it be done? I advise to do the same activity, for example, in the beginning when you start learning something, and then for example, in a month or in a 3-month time. What can it be? For example, you can just record a monologue of you talking about, for example, about yourself. And then you do the same in a 3 months time, and you will notice so many differences. First, you will know more words and you will express your thoughts fully. Then, most probably your grammar will be much better and you will feel more confident speaking a language, and you will notice all of these things. Just it will be so demonstrative that you will be so happy that it actually happened. And without this activity, most probably you would think that, well, I learned something, but maybe not much. But only with this track of results, it will be very visible for you, and it will give you more inspiration and motivation again. So how else can we stay inspired? I noticed such a tendency if you surround yourself with all of the things that would remind you of doing this activity, for example, learning languages, you would think that it's a norm for you already, and if you don't have this, I don't know, like a 10 minutes practice a day, you would think, well, something weird has happened. For example, recently I got back to doing sports regularly. I had a 1-month break or something, and I started to follow like a couple of people on Instagram who run every day and do some sports activity regularly, and I see it every day, and for me it becomes a norm that I have to do something regular. For example, example, doing sports. And the same thing with languages. You can start following some people like influencers on Instagram or bloggers on YouTube to know more about the language, or like so that you keep getting inspired by others, and it's like a norm for you. It's your routine to practice something regularly. In our case, it's a language. Another important thing is regular practice, of course. Here is a trick which you can use actually to maybe fool your brain a little bit. When we think that, for example, oh, I have to practice English, for example, 2 hours per week, and you divide these 2 hours like 2 times a week. For example, Tuesday, Thursday, I practice English. But as soon as you wake up on Tuesday and you realize, well, I have to spend 1 hour practicing English. I don't feel like doing it today, right now. It's too much time. But if you fool your brain, and for example, you set this 10-minute limit or 15, 20 minutes, your brain will think, well, it's not that long. I will only sit like 15 minutes doing something. It's not that like bad, and your brain will not try to escape this activity. Even if you have this like short practices, but almost every day, it will be even more effective than you have only like 2 practices, each 1 hour alone. So think about it. Another tip is not to complicate the things, because actually all the information is already on the internet, so you don't have to create something new. For example, if you want to find a textbook, you can just Google textbooks for English learners, for example, teenagers or kids or adults, or if you want to learn a specific topic like medicine terms and stuff, you can also find it. And people have already written the articles about which textbooks are good, which textbooks are not good, and you don't have to like check every textbook available on the internet to find the one you need. You just need to find an article where people share their opinion about it. The longer you spend looking for the things you can use to learn, the less you will want to continue this process. Take it easy. And a little bit more about practice. The tip is practice is the key. For me, learning by heart is not working for a long-term result. For example, you can take like 5 words today, learn them by heart. So just for example, I will give you like a Russian translation, like book, kniga, and you just say it all the time, but you do not use the word which you are trying to remember in practice. Like you do not compose sentences with it. You do not listen like to audios which mention this word. You just try to learn it by heart. Most probably in like a week or so, you will forget this word. So learning by heart is not that effective. But for example, if you see a new word and you know, well, it's important, I have to remember it. So don't try to learn it by heart, just use different techniques to remember the word. For example, first you have to write it down and to give the translation. Then you try to compose several sentences with this word. Or you try to speak to yourself, even like saying any random things, but using this word. So you will use it, your brain will understand that I use this word in this context, so it means this, this, and this. And you will remember it much better. So practice is the key. When we learn language, we most probably learn it for communication, for exchanging the information. So learning something by heart is not helpful in this case. So if you want me to film a video how you can practice each aspect of the language, please let me know in the comments below, because I know many practices which are super helpful and effective. And the final tip is no force is needed. Just let yourself enjoy the studying process, because I think most of us remember school, and most probably studies from school, they were so super intense, and most of the time we learned not the things we wanted to. But nowadays, chill. It's not obligatory for you like to speak 10 languages or something. It's the process for you to enjoy, and that's the main thing. As soon as your brain understands it, that you don't have to, but you want to, then so all other things will go super smoothly, and the results will not make you wait. So that's it for today. Again, please let me know if you want more videos about learning foreign languages, because after all of my experience, I have really many useful things to share, guys. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.